How's it going, guys, and welcome to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 23, and of course we start the new season, the second season in its Career Mode, with Blackburn Rovers, of course, after winning promotion from the Empire Championship last season, after winning the division by, I think it was, did we win by 15 points, I think it was, and ended up with 103 points. I'm not entirely sure, but you saw the league table there for the last season in the Premiership, and the three teams that went down were West Brom, Aston Villa and West Ham. So those are the three teams we won't be playing in the Premiership for this season. Just there you saw me send my youth scout out to England again, because he obviously finished his assignment come the back end of last year, and I thought I'd promote some players from my youth academy. The reason being, I don't have a big squad, and obviously in the Premiership you are going to be playing very, very good teams, and obviously you really do need a good squad to keep rotating and make sure that if someone gets injured, you've got enough cover in those positions. And I know that these guys aren't exactly great, obviously they're youth players, but to be honest, I'm pretty confident they'll be okay, and I'm going to try and send some out on loan as well, so they can get some match experience and come back better. So although I do know that it's really hard to send players out on loan this year, like the youth players, for some reason they just don't want to leave and no clubs want them. So yeah, we'll try our best to send them out on loan, get some match experience, and yeah, just sign out the best ones. And like I said, I mean, Andrew Bunn, for example, he doesn't look very good, but I think he's 6'7", which is great, especially for a centre back, you know, to have that much height on him. But yeah, some of the players look good, some of the players look really good, so I'm going to promote a couple of others. And of course I'm going to send my South Korean scout out again soon when he finishes his assignment. But the first signing of the new season was obviously going to be this man. Can't deny it, I need this guy with me wherever I go. And yeah, I'm going in for Paolo. Obviously he had a really good end of last season when we'd already won the championship, and decided to sort of rotate the squad so the younger players could get some experience. And Gaza made some incredible saves. If you remember a few episodes ago, he played really well in the games he played in. So I've got no bother picking up Gazaniga, and you know, I'm probably going to look to sell Paul Robinson, but to be honest, I'm not going to lie here. I am going to look to sign a better goalkeeper than Paulo Gazaniga as my number one, because as much as I love him, he's only 66 rated, and that's not good enough for the Premiership. But I'm also going to go in for Skinham Towns, mainly because his pace is electric, and Slew here was wanted by Celta Vigo. But we signed these two youth players, which is really nice. Like I said, Andrew Bunn, who I believe is 6'7", and that's South Korean playmaker. Like I said, it's really cool having a South Korean scout that's in South Korea, because it means that they can pick some players for club and country, because I'm of course the South Korea manager, so that is going to be really cool. But you see Andrew Bunn, like I said, he's only 58 rated, Key is only 57, but you know, he's got 5-star week for how about that, and 6'7". But like I said, these players will grow, you know, they will, with any luck anyway, they will go out on loan. And even if they don't, you know, Capital One Cup games, FA Cup games, you know, against like League 1, League 2 teams, I've got no problem playing with them, you know, I've got no problem putting them aside, and I'm sure they'll do well. That guy's got 4-star skill, which is nice as well. But I've also got this guy, Joe Felipe Silva Ferreira, 58 rated centre forward. What? Where did he come from? I mean, you see my scouts, I haven't sent them anywhere other than England and Portugal, but this guy's come out of nowhere, some random Portuguese forward. I don't know, maybe it's because I didn't have a big enough squad, I don't know. Comment below, how have I got that guy? He's just come out of nowhere, it's crazy. But yeah, but despite that madness, I went to the transfer market again and tried to sign some players on loan. Nathan Redmond, now with Barcelona, and Lucas Piazon. Just thought I'd get some cover on the wings, really. I don't think I'm going to go for Michel Weiser. As I've said before, I'm trying to sort of change it up due to the last career mode. Obviously, I had so many players in that one that I really liked, like Lewis Dunk and Jethro Williams and Jack Butland and etc, etc, etc. And I don't want to sign the exact same players and have a carbon copy of the side. So Michel Weiser, who I did have at Brighton for one season, I'm not going to sign him again. I know I had him for the Empire Championship season with Blackburn, but I think it's just not going to be as fun if I play with the same players I've used all the time. But here's someone I haven't signed before, Frederick Sorensen. He's a young Danish centre-back, I believe he is, and he's a pretty good player. He's not got too much pace yet, he's 6'4", and to be honest, I wasn't really convinced with Scott Dan last season. He didn't really seem to be very solid defensively, unlike Kurt Zouma, who was. So I'm going to try and bring in Sorensen and sell Scott Dan and use some of the money wherever he goes to sign Sorensen. But so many people are after Jordan Slew, man, it's crazy. I mean, he was really good ever since Jordan Rhodes and who am I thinking of? Jordan Rhodes and Josh King left last season in the January transfer window. Jordan Slew came in and was first choice striker for the majority of the second half, and he was superb. So it's no real surprise to see the players clubs are after him, but I do want to keep hold of him because he is, of course, rapid and 6'3", which is a huge bonus. But yeah, Southampton want a bit more money for Paulo Gazzaniga, which sucks because, you know, I want to get him on the cheap. He's a good goalkeeper, but I don't want to spend too much money. So I asked for, I think it was 850 grand plus one of my young centre-backs, which I don't ever intend to use. But Anthony O'Connor's gone to Hibernian. That's fine with me. Never used him before. And yeah, what team is this? Is it Bologna or Cesena? I can't read it from here. It's one of those two teams. But anyway, I think it's Bologna, and they want some more money for Sorensen, which is perfectly fine because he's a pretty decent centre-back, and I know he grows to something like an 82. I'm pretty sure it's on that, which is some very good ratings. So yeah, Jordan Slew, once again, I reject another bid. But I decided to go in for this guy, a South Korean striker, one of my South Korean players that I've never called up before, believe it or not. I must have missed him on the international squad selection by accident because I've never called him up before. Didn't even know of his existence until I searched for him. And yeah, he's pretty good. I think he's got something like 97 acceleration and 91 sprint speed, so he's obviously going to be rapid and one of those players I'll look to bring off the bench. One of those players like Josh King, really, who can come off the bench and do the job. But yeah, Andros Townsend, Spurs accepted a bid, which is lovely, and we try and offer us a contract for Skinham Towns. And yeah, loan offers come in. Nathan Redmond are perfectly happy with, Barcelona are perfectly happy with Redmond coming to us, and also Chelsea are the same with Lucas Piazon. So great to get some cover on the wings, and if Andros Townsend signs, those two will be really good to sit in my reserves and on the bench and come on when I need them. Excuse me, but we offer a contract here for Gaza. Don't give him a squad status because even though I'm looking to sell Paul Robinson, I don't think I'm going to make him first team. I don't really think he's good enough, really. But a bid does come in for Scott Dan. It's Sunderland who wanted him for $2.5 million. And like I said, I wasn't really convinced of him last season, but he's still got a pretty decent rating. He's 76 rated. He's only 26, so he's still got years to grow. But like I said, I wasn't convinced of him last season, so I think the $3 million will be perfectly fine. But Bologna, yes, it is Bologna. I can read it here. Bologna, yeah, you go me. I know my badges. Bologna wanted a bit more for Frederick Sorensen, which is perfectly fine. He's a great player, but obviously I don't want to spend all my budget on one player, so hopefully they'll accept that bid. And also Nantes wanted, I think it was 2.8 million for this striker, and I'm perfectly fine basically going up to that margin, just a little bit under, because like I said, he's rapid, he is absolutely electric, and he should grow. But Sunderland accept the counter deal for Scott Dan, so he looks like he's on his way, and I'm pretty pleased with that, really, because I wasn't convinced of him last season. He wasn't that great. But Townsend, Skinham Towns comes in, he signs the contract really nicely, and that means that Townsend will be my first choice left winger once again. I'm absolutely delighted about that. And a bid comes in for Marcus Olsen, the brother of Martin Olsen, I think it is, my left back, and I decided to accept it because I never used him. I think I might have used him like once or twice last season, and I don't really need him. So, you know, for 750 grand, that's perfectly fine with me. And seeing as we've got Lucas Piazon and Nathan Redmond in, I really don't need that much cover on the wings anymore. But Gazzaniga accepts the contract, so I'm absolutely delighted that Gazzaniga comes in because I am in love with the guy. And Nantes accept the transfer offer for Lee Yong-jae, the young South Korean rapid striker. So I just give him 5 years on 7 grand a week. It's pretty cool how, like, you never really need to upgrade the wage. It always seems to be there for him. You know, they're perfectly fine with the wage they're already on, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, you saw I only had like 11 million to spend, which isn't a lot of money, but it's still pretty good. When I got promoted with Brighton in the last career mode series, I only got 5 million, so it was nice to kind of have double that, really. But you know, it's really annoying when you have teams like this, Bologna, who just do not want to let one of their young centre backs go, one of their really young star players. They just want to keep getting more money off you, and when you haven't got the biggest of budgets, it's really frustrating because you don't know whether to go for other targets or not. But seeing as Scott Dan does get sold for 3 million, I do need to sign another first choice centre back, because the only other player I could play really is Grant Hanley, and he's not that great. So hopefully Bologna will accept the other bid, and we can get him in for relatively cheapness and about half of what Scott Dan sold for. But yeah, Paul Robinson, like I said, I was looking to sell this guy. The reason being is because I said in the a few episodes ago, he's a really inconsistent goalkeeper. Sometimes he has amazing games, yet sometimes he is really, really poor and doesn't stop the shots you really expect him to. And he's 33 years old, and he's decreasing in stats. So I never like to see a player decrease in stats. I want to get as much money for them as possible, sort of flog a dead horse and then get a little bit of coinage for him whilst I can, you know, and not let him leave on free transfer. So hopefully we can get like about 500 to 700 grand for him. That would be perfectly fine. And yeah, we also get a scout update here from South Korea, and you know, some of these guys look pretty decent, some of them look really poor, But like I said, a couple look good. A couple look really good. I mean, this guy looks really nice. I'm going to sign him as well. And like I said, the best thing about the South Korean scout is the fact that I can choose these guys for the country as well, and get them some experience for their country as well as the clubs they can develop in the international scene as well as the club scene. So that is really nice indeed. But yeah, I actually signed one of these goalkeepers here, and I went straight into the youth squad to sign him again, mainly because with Paul Robinson leaving, or looking like he's going to leave, I'm only going to be left with one goalkeeper in Gazaniga, and although I do plan to sign another goalkeeper, I really don't want to be left with one goalkeeper as we start the season. That's not going to be good enough. So yeah, Real Zaragoza said they were only going to spend 650 grand, so I said that's perfectly fine, that's good enough for me. He's not that great in my opinion, and if he wants to go, he can go. Bradley Orr goes to Reading. I'm sort of just letting the old guard leave their post, really. I mean, they've been standing tall, they've led us to the Premiership, but to be honest, I don't need them anymore. I need to bring some young blood in, so I'm letting the old guard leave, and players like Robinson, players like Bradley Orr are perfectly fine to leave. But we managed to get this guy in, Lee Yong-jae, like I said, the rapid South Korean striker, so that is really cool. I'm going to put him on a bench and bring him on when I need to, so he should be pretty good. And once again, so many bids came in for Paul Robinson, man. I mean, like I said, he's 73 rated, he's 33 years old, so he's still pretty decent, but the fact that he's decreasing in stats, that really does put me off, really. So I know it sounds ridiculous, but whenever I see a player starts to decrease in stats, I think, oh, do I really want him anymore? I'm not sure, because I want to try and sell him and get as much money as possible, as opposed to just keeping him and waiting for his contract to expire. So Robinson really should be accepting at least one of these bids that come in, and should be on his way. But we also managed to get this South Korean young goalkeeper, so just in case Robinson does go and I don't manage to sign another goalkeeper in time, I am left with two goalkeepers. So Bologna here accept the deal for Frederick Sorensen, which is great. I think that was it 4.5 million, so that should be good if we can get him in. And a few of these teams accept the counter offer for Paul Robinson, but a few of them say they don't want to. But I declined both of these guys. I couldn't be bothered, because I mean, there's like 5 contracts for Robinson to choose between. So here's the young South Korean goalkeeper. Like I said, he's got some really poor stats. No real surprise. He's only 16 years old. But the best thing about him is that I think he's 6'6", and he's got 3-star skill moves. I love it now. Love the way goalkeepers can have skill moves. But Real Sociedad wanted I think it was 675 grand before they would speak to Robinson, but I was just saying, I don't want to sell him any less than that, really, because like I said, he's still a good goalkeeper. Although I don't intend to use him at all, he's still a pretty decent goalkeeper. So I'm just asking for a bit more money in these teams, and with any luck they'll come in and say, yep, that's perfectly fine, and they'll take Robinson off our hands, and we can go ahead and buy a better first team goalkeeper. But Robinson does go ahead and accept one of those contract offers. He's off to Real Zaragoza, so he's been a loyal servant to the club, but I don't need him anymore, and I'm going to try and sign a better first choice goalkeeper. But Frederick Sorensen comes in, absolutely delighted by that. I really am, because I reckon he's going to be a great centre back. He and Kurt Zouma, I reckon those two are going to form a formidable partnership at the back that may be good enough to keep us up in the Premiership. But I also decided to go in for this guy, Thiago Primeo, a Brazilian playmaker that plays for Juventus. I can only imagine he's a fake player. Either that or my football knowledge is terrible. But I also decided to go in for Oriol Romeo, basically just spend the rest of the transfer budget. Romeo is a player who I'm really, really fond of in real life. I find him to be a great player. I think his sort of defensive cover is really good. He's got so much strength, and Dixon Atuhu, like I said, I was trying to let the old guard go, and Dixon Atuhu, 31 years old, he had a good season last season, but it's best to sort of replace the old ones with the young guys, and Oriol Romeo will be a great cover for Dixon Atuhu. But Juventus accept the loan for Thiago Primeo, so that's a good playmaker in. Hopefully that means I can get more cover there and send players like Craig Gibson and Key out on loan. But Chelsea weren't happy with us taking Romeo on loan. They said they wanted some money for him instead, so I thought, yep, screw it, you know what, I'm going to spend my budget and try and get Romeo in, because like I said, I'm really, really fond of the guy, and other than the goalkeeper, I don't really feel like there's any other area that I need to strengthen. So I think it was £3 million plus Pedersen. Like I said, just replacing the old guard. £3 million plus Pedersen. No, it was £2.7 million plus Pedersen for Romeo, and hopefully we can get him in. But Fulham don't want to spend £1 million on Dixon Atuhu, so that kind of sucks. But I'll tell you now that he does get another bid coming in for him very soon. So that's why Oriol Romeo is such a real target that needs to be signed, because I do want to have a defensive midfielder who will just sit back this season. But as always, guys, a big thank you for watching. I'm sorry there's been no game games in this episode, but you have been treated to a very long episode. And yeah, as always guys, thanks for watching. Here's the bit I was talking about for Dixon Atuhu, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.